You have no business being here. It was very thorough. There was nothing to fight about. The fact that he had children outside of marriage and stuff like that. No,
Absolutely
just
simple.
put it down. But in the event of my death, so and so is going to take over my estate. Oh, yes, please. That's very important. Please don't leave me kids that I don't know about. It's very important. Okay.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking very serious but necessary conversations, and I'm not alone. I am here with Nozi Mayaba. If you don't know who she is, I don't know where you at. Where do you live? Nozi, how are you doing?
Hey everybody, let me tell you something.
Exactly. That's how you know her. And please, let us in on who you are.
Hey everybody, Nozi Mayaba, author, podcaster, content creator, mom, wife, everything in between.
And that, in a nutshell, is exactly who Nozi is. And today we'll be diving into estate planning, wills, and normalizing these conversations amongst us as young people. We're not doing it alone. This video is in partnership with Sanlam. So we'll be helping you. If you are needing to create that will or even have that conversation, whether it's with a partner, a parent, even a friend. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this video and talk all things wills and estate planning. If you haven't already, please subscribe to both our channels. Nozi is actually a YouTuber. If you still do not know, she literally listed her old bio, her own LinkedIn. She is on YouTube, and I will have her channel linked down in the description box. Do subscribe as well and join the Yolz channel family. And of course, comment down below. Do you have a will? No judgment, it's a safe space. But do you have any estate planning? Do you know what's going to happen once you are no longer here? I don't know, hey, but let's get straight into it. Hey there. It's Yolz channel. Y'all know I love to talk about money, financial planning, and wealth creation. Very rarely do I even come on here and talk about what happens after death, because we can create all the wealth that we want. If I've not put it in a will, it's useless. My child cannot actually be a trust fund baby if there is no trust. Forget the fact that it's absolutely futile if we can actually build in this life or even have the debt, because some people want to be bankrupt when they die and then not put it in place. Who's going to take care of the consequences of our decisions? And I think today is so important because we need to normalize it in our friendships, in our homes, and in our families. And if you want to think, actually, no, I don't want to say want. I would encourage you, I'd highly implore you to start thinking about will creation. And if you want any help, go onto the SCS website, that is the Sanlam Credit Solutions dashboard. I will leave the link down below for you to actually have a look at the different types of wills. We'll talk about some of them today. They are single wills, they are joint, and they are testamentary trust, particularly if you do have a child. It's super, super interesting to learn about wills, but also it takes a few hours to put things in place so that the years that come after your death are actually qoqekile. I use this word a lot, but things are put in place so that nobody carries the burden of your death and the decisions that you made while you were alive. Particularly debt. That burden is heavy, and also insecurity and chaos. Nozi, I don't know about you, but I had to have these conversations firstly with myself the minute I obviously gave birth. But you know what? I parked it for like a good 3-4 years. And then last year, I was challenged with the question. I had to actually ask other people. I was doing street interviews. But it was so weird asking other people if they've done any estate planning.
Well, you have not.
You know? So I had to get my house in order, sat my husband down, and we finally got a consultant in the house, and we had the whole conversation, which was so necessary and shocking. Because had anything happened before that to either of us or both of us, girl, I don't know what Fizzy would be left with.
Man, it had also been like a long time coming for me. One from my mom's side, where I'm like, hey, Kelly, do you think you have a will? Or do you think it's important for you to have a will? And obviously, mom is like, no, that's not important for me.
And it's normal. And
I was like, you know what? It's fine. I parked it, and then my dad passed away during COVID.
I'm so sorry
so thank you. So, but then we so my mom and my dad like just had my brother and I. They were never married or anything like that. So, but I started getting inspired by how his estate was handled. So we are children out of marriage, right? And when we went to the funeral, we were like guests there. You get in, you sit down, you observe whatever is being observed, and get out. Okay, because this is you have no business being here. It was very thorough. There was nothing to fight about. The fact that he had children outside of marriage and stuff like that. No, he planned everything that who's going to benefit is the wife and the immediate, children.
Wait, you were carved out? Hectic.
No.
But you still found inspiration?
It was inspiration for me, but okay. Let me plan my stuff. Okay? No, it was inspiration. I was like, let me play my stuff. And so that, because I think what inspired us was the fact that there was no dilly-dallying further conversation that needed to be had. But, hello, I'm here. Can you please, how much did he leave me? There was no conversation like that. When I come here, you're a guest, observe the proceedings and leave. Okay? So those are the things that inspired me. Now also, more so when I got pregnant and gave birth to Lumi. Hey, now you start thinking about, Sissy, life is very unpredictable. In a case where you pass away, what's going to happen to your child? In a case where both of you pass away.
You are the parent
You are the parent now. Then also having a difficult conversation with my husband at school, but please, can you sit down? First of all, how much are you covered for? In an event that you pass away, how much are you leaving us?
Yeah.
Okay? And sometimes it seems like a hard thing or a hard conversation, or you're being harsh. You have to.
For us, exactly.
Yeah,
and that was easier for us. Each and every bank has got a life cover.
Yes.
So they'll always, push these things and extra call center so you can have a life cover.
Yes.
Then when you get married, you're like, let's look at the numbers.
Hello?
Let's get serious, right?
Please, let's sit down. Okay, now we have a child. So if any one of us would pass away or both of us pass away, simshela namalini.
And now it gets hot.
Who's now going to be a person who's nominated to handle your estate? Is it automatic, mana? It has to be a brother or a sister or a mom. How many? Yolz, it was a difficult conversation. And actually realizing, but can you trust also someone else with your child?
Yes. The nomination part for us, initially we were like, the grandmothers. Then they're like, we need like an order.
Yes.
Because Nabo, we don't know how long they're going to be here.
That's what I'm saying.
He looked at us straight in the face and he's like, okay, cool. But in the order of like who first?
Yes.
And should this one pass away? And what's option B?
So mamuna 75 ufuneka ahenisha umntana nangapi. Yo. And then so we sat down and we called a consultant and like literally Sandam. I called Sandam and I was like, hello, can you please come to our house? Please explain. Yolz, I think it was an aha moment for both of us because some of the things that we thought we knew, we actually did not. The guy was explaining, but hey, actually to even have someone access your estate, do you realize that at you passing away, there's a debt, automatic debt that needs to be settled, and also that frees you now to access the estate. Now, on top of you having a will, on top of this, all these insurances, they calculate like how much are you worth.
Yes,
this is the worth of your estate, and you need to insure your estate.
Yes,
yo,
because there's a cost of somebody actually handling the winding up of the estate. There are legal costs to that, and you can actually start now this side of death paying that off.
Sana, I had all my things in order. And guys, it's difficult, but it's necessary. I think, and we all know this quote, like the one thing we always think we have is time.
Ooh,
like guys, we live on borrowed times, and it's always a thing where it's always applicable to other people. It's like, they pass away so young. They're leaving behind children, ma'am. That could be us at any point.
Literally today.
It could be us at any point in time.
Guaranteed.
So it was very important. Please get your life in order. Life covers, wills, and literally also, guys, also asking, can you please bring the nomination forms from the office for you, from where you work, because you need to check who's the nominated people.
What do you mean? Who's in trouble here?
Yes, I've seen a lot. You don't leave those things to chance. You don't leave those things to chance, guys. You check at work. There's no those insurances in don't. They ask how much, who's getting what and what percentage. So please ask your partner. Please bring them. Not word of mouth. For the forms you need to bring, so that you see, okay, Nozi is getting 50%, the child is getting this much. Okay,
I actually really love that, because we think we can be specific with our financial planning, our wealth planning, but we're not very specific about what happens exactly after death, particularly when a partner passes away, or even you pass away and you've left a child. And I think most people, especially in South Africa, we see this almost, if you don't see it, you might know of somebody, or somebody knows of someone else that's gone through a situation where it's actually more chaotic and more painful after somebody has left,
And sometimes even, I think what made me really wake up also is how I realized, but hey, there's that period when someone passes away and their banks and everything gets like frozen.
Yeah. The scramble.
Guys, please. Please get your house in order. Those banks, everything, your money gets frozen. Now you need to start thinking about, but you need to organize the funeral. Okay, maybe funeral cover will pay out immediately. But then there's a life cover and running up the estate. Those things take long. So what processes have you put in place? But okay, school will be able to access this account, or in the event that school passes away, I'm able to access this account while the estate is still rounding up. It's those little things, they really matter, because now gonna look at one passing away, there's literally one income that's been taken away immediately. For the next couple of months, Umdana still needs to go to school, you still need to live your life, you still need to pay bond, you still need to pay the car and all of those things. So it's very important.
Yeah, no, that is... Yeah, it gets chaotic. And I think that's the thing, culturally, we come from families, African backgrounds, where it is a taboo subject. It's sensitive. And some of our parents, if there's a man in the house, like Booty, maybe he may have these conversations with our parents. But a lot of the times, it's very rare, like for my grandmother to pull me aside and say, hey, this is what you need to do should I pass away. You know, I don't know how that conversation is going to change in terms of us with our parents and our grandparents, but how can me and you as parents change that? Because culturally, I think we can give our elders, let's commend them. They do pass down knowledge
of grace
on everything else. Jonga, uyacaciswa about everything,
but they pass out recipes, but all of a sudden when it comes to this, they don't want to pass it away.
Uzothetha ngokufa. Are you planning my day? Ingathi uyamthuka.
So when now just hleli apha nje uyacinga bana uzofumana malini in an event. My mom for a long time, I still have the my mom for a long time, mama thinks like, oh yeah, because kaloko nini insuring $1 million. Ma'am, I didn't even show myself $1 million for funeral cover. What are you talking about? So all the time she's like, if funeral cover, I'm gonna insuring $1 million. If I have to pass away, you guys are gonna get him. Okay, please. So it's very definitely touchy. It's a touchy subject. But I think the takeaway is, and I always say this, even when it comes to parenting, even when it comes to our generation, it will be sad that we have to repeat the cycle with us and our children. It's really important that we've experienced a lot when it comes to our parents, and there's so much that we can influence, there's so much that we can change. I mean, they're already set on their ways, but we need to change the narrative. We need to break the cycle. We can't have Olumi inheriting RDP houses. We can't have Olumi Sana inheriting houses. Do you get what I mean? No, we need to do better. We need, so constantly whatever I do, I need to have that mentality of that mindset and that at the back of my mind. But how am I working to build wealth for Ulumi? How do I constantly because then if I don't, everything is going to be in vain. I can work up until 2 a.m. in the morning, but if it's not working towards that, building wealth, building, assets for Lumi. And
And keeping record. Because the thing is, we've also seen the flip side where some parents have the wealth, but they did not put it down in a will. They did not actually estate plan.
Yeah.
There is no plan going forward. The houses are there. The wealth is there, but you can't touch the wealth because utata or mama did not put it down. And I think that's the saddest part, you know. And then the flip side of it is, they do inherit something. I-RDP net.
Yeah.
Uthini ngalonto. Umama unshiya nento that now is more burdensome than the funeral itself. And let's talk about the emotional burden of seeing, you know, our peers literally carrying the burden of what happens after this day. We are monument at a funeral, but you know,
first of all, you just lost a parent. Having to organize a funeral, guys. Also, a funeral is very expensive.
Guys,
can you just put me in a cloth and just even on the ocean? Okay, no. It's fine because
poor fishes, don't do that. No. Ocean waste is already a problem.
Let me tell you something. Honestly, for a long time, that's my irk about funerals and how expensive they and unnecessarily so.
Because it's a one-time cost.
Sana, very recent. I even had my mom-in-law's funeral. Love Oh my gosh. Now it's in the rural parts of the Eastern Cape, Lusikisiki.
Oh, I've heard of Lusikisiki actually.
I'm a city girl.
Okay.
From Port Elizabeth.
Yeah, from here.
And the guys plan. Yeah, I'm a planner. How much are we going to spend here? And also I'm like, that's unnecessary. You know? But then there's an infusion of also a culture, but this is how we used to do. Then I was that narcotic. Yeah, I had to. No, I had to. If I didn't, it was going to be problematic. Like, guys, why are we cooking like a full meal every day during the week?
Leading up to. Exactly.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that's not economical. No, chakalaka again and steamed bread. Everyone.
Sides.
Yes, I'm a cookies. Yeah, and I send baggy who wears scones and coffee. No, I had to be because I'm like, no, guys, we've experienced a lot. I'm not going back to this. I'm not repeating the cycle. I need to have peaceful sleep. And this will pin to a situation or a place where I'm not sleeping because I'm counting, hey, how are we going to pay for this? Hey, how are we going to pay for this? We're going to only do things that make sense. So you just lost a parent. You're also grappling with the fact that how much is this going to cost us, and have we been able to properly plan for it? Even when you plan for it, cookie costs and that just come out up just out of the blue. For example, in this case, we didn't only have to do a tombstone for my mom-in-law, we had to do tombstone for abantwana bakhe. I'm like, we didn't plan for that.
Did you make space as well in your heart for the burden that you're about to carry?
A little bit, but also then I had that's where I was like, no, we can't.
Some logic.
We can't
bank account.
We can't do that. And then also afterwards, what's going to happen to the house? How are we going to maintain it? Who's going to live there? Then also the debt that comes with all of that.
This is exactly why these conversations need to be had before the death happens, because unfortunately most of the time they now have to happen because there's debt after death. So now you're sitting in a situation where you've already overspent on the funeral and you're facing these consequences and the reality of it. Agaseko, we can't even find a solution from Lomtu who's left this over here, and there's nothing else. And most wills are actually free to set up, right?
They are.
And that's the thing. It just takes a few hours of understanding what it is, putting it down on paper, and making it easy so that after that week, we can now mourn.
Whether we like it or not, guys, this period is gonna come.
And that's the thing about it.
Can't avoid
certain. Yes, because it's the one thing it guaranteed.
Right? It's guaranteed. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen whether we like it or not. So we need to plan around these things and have these discussions.
Oh, and debt protection. Even now, like when we were having a conversation about our parents, it's important for us to make sure that the debt we leave behind is not theirs. As much as the estate will have everything, the assets need to far cover the liabilities, because ungamshiyi nendlu engaka a mansion kanti usa-owa.
And umntana also uzayimaintaina njani? Hey? Uzayimaintaina njani laa ndlu? Akho mali ebekiweyo, akho income phaya, utilities ziyaza every month. And one of the things that I've actually realized when I speak to people about, you know, do you have a will? Do you have, you know, insurances that's going to cover, you know, in the event of your death or if anything had to happen? And people are like, where to ndishiya ntoni tani? Anando. So guys, or when you're talking about, you know, the accumulation of assets and stuff like that, and someone was like, what is ban? So they would rather accumulate debt than assets because there's a mentality ban. Or the other way around is I don't have assets to write down on a will. Lala, whether you have assets or not, and put it down, okay? And the fact that, as we just mentioned, at your death, you are inheriting debt that needs to be settled by your family. So, and I don't like this mentality. I promise you, it makes me want to pull off this wig right now.
Don't pull it off, girl.
When they usually say, no, whoever is left behind will sort it out.
Yes. And I think that's why I say it's so normalized to have those conversations than the adverse. And then, you realize how easy it was, you know?
It's easy.
It is absolutely
just
simple.
Put it down. But in the event of my death, so-and-so is going to take over my estate. Yes, please. That's very important. Please don't leave me kids that I don't know about. It's very important. Okay? In the event of my death, this person is going to take over my estate. Okay, so now I have insurance to pay off the debt and that I have inherited at my death. Ne? And also, ufuna umngcwabo onjani, you know, you can literally put everything that you want on the will. Indlu leyo nayo uyishela bani, uyishela abantwana, ufuna ithengiswe or ufuna ingathengiswe, because there's that as well. Do you want them to sell the house or you don't? You can put in a clause, but whatever happens, now that they're inheriting the house, at no point should the house should be sold. And then, because we can't land about the kids at you passing away, then no mafuna things in liam, the seven land, whether you like it or not, you're not gonna sell the house. Okay? Also at my death, Ulomi, let's say Ulomi is 18, ne? So legally they could inherit like the whole estate, ne? But in Yamaziba Ulomi akakabhadli kahle, ne? They still need a little bit of maturing, ne? Diyabhala phaya ku estate kulandu ku Williamba. If I passed away Ulomi let's say by 18, please don't give him the whole amount of my money. Ne? You can give him, let's say, 200,000 just to start him up. Ne? The rest in installments.
Yes.
Or at 18 you give him certain amount of money, at 21 you give him certain amount of money, at 25, at 30, njalo. Yeah, but you're already planning for it, but I am setting you up for life, not to give you like 10 million rand or whatever the amount is at 18. Now 18, what are they going to do with that amount of money?
I've seen horror stories.
And also, now this one is very controversial. This one we don't like to talk about, but it definitely, I started thinking about it. It's like, hey, so in the event that I pass away.
I saw this one coming. This one's for the husband, yeah.
In the event that I pass away, do I automatically give the whole estate to the husband? Then, you know, you start thinking about these things, guys. This is life. This is reality. You can have different options. But okay, no, school can have, you know, the estate. He'll see what he needs to do. Or you can say, you know, he receives also a certain portion of the estate, and then the rest is in a trust. Because the interests are going to be for the child.
Yes.
Now you have a child. So the rest is put on in the estate. So in order for him to get the access, for example, Ulumi needs to go to school, Ulumi needs to go to university, Ulumi needs this and that. It's managed through a trust. So that also you are able, this money carries them for a longer period of time. So that's also very important.
Oh my goodness. So you just schooled us on what is a testamentary trust. Now, when we actually contacted Sanlam initially, I just called my financial manager and I said to her, we need to sit down. And then she said, oh, I'm not actually equipped to teach you about this, but there is somebody who specializes in wills and estates. And they said, we'll give you 2 hours, 3 hours if you need to. It is absolutely free. And that is why I think it's really important to go onto that Sanlam Credit Solutions dashboard and learn about the different types of wills. There's joint, there's single, and there's testamentary, which is what you've just explained. Nati, the same thing. I've got property in Cape Town, and I bought it when I was young, before I was married. Hey, that conversation was difficult because Iyagbani, right? And the 18 should Lord forbid I die and Fezi is 18, does he get the house? Can he sell the house? All these questions. What if he makes it a party house and then decides imali pelile ngoku uzoyithengisa? And it's so important to actually add those key milestones and understand your child, exactly like you were saying. It was so important for us to think about what really happens when you're giving an 18-year-old all this access. How would we responsibly want this to be distributed? By who and at which points in his life? So we actually created those milestones. Be as specific as you can. And I love the fact that we call him David now because he told me the consultant. David was just like, be specific, because he was going through a situation where they didn't have. My mom didn't do estate planning. Our siblings are fighting. Things are there, but the lawyer is saying, well, there are fees that still need to be paid before you guys start this discussion. So you actually need to fully get into understanding what the wills are. It's a quick, I think 2 hours is very quick to start planning for your future, particularly after death. So if you want to learn about will creation and actually sitting down with a consultant, definitely check out Sanlam Credit Solutions dashboard, and I will leave the link in the description box. Check it out and learn. The best thing you could do in step one, whether you've got a child, whether you don't, whether you've got assets, whether you don't, whether you've got a partner, whether you don't. I've chatted to 18-year-olds who've literally said, especially these Gen Zs, they're smart, who've said they've started thinking about it. And I think it's amazing to think about it when you don't have anything yet, because you need a will. Whether you have or you don't, you actually need a will, because at some point you will die.
I think that's the best advice. If I had to go back, there's so much that I've been working since I was 19.
Oh, wow.
And if I had this kind, if I had this kind of information then, I think I would have, I'm grateful for where I'm at. We're doing great or whatever. But I think I would have been far. If I had, this kind of information, I would have invested early. I would have set money aside early. I would have bought properties early. Do you get what I mean?
Put things in place early.
Put things in place early. But you get, what I love about it is that we're already here. We already have the information. We're already setting things aside. We're already having discussions, and it can only get better from here.
100%. We're already normalizing the conversation that we never had with our parents. In fact, I don't think they had it with their friends. So how fortunate are we to have it and not have the stigma of Guti, you know what happens. But the guarantee that when you do, I don't want to say it on camera, Ulumi is taken care of.
Yes.
Oh, that peace of mind.
Guys,
peace is expensive, ne? If you have not prepared for it. But peace is easy if you put things in place. And if there's one gift you'd want to give anyone, whether it's a partner, again, whether it's your parents, whether it is a child, give them peace.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, if you're going to chat to your Sanlam financial advisor, talk about wills as well. Don't just talk. Don't be like me, because for years it was easy for me to go, how much do we have? What are the assets minus the liabilities? Until I literally realized, when I talk to my Sanlam financial advisor, I need to start talking about the rest of the future, because future will continue whether I am alive or not. Thank you so much, Nozi, for this conversation. It was so light. It was so fluffy in a way, but my spirit doesn't feel heavy. I don't feel burdened, you know? And I feel as though you just made light of a situation that should be made light while we are alive.
It doesn't need to be heavy.
It doesn't need to be heavy.
You don't need a moment where you're like, it's tense here at home, then you have to have the conversations of, no, can be over dinner, you're having a conversation, and just planning. Let's just plan, guys, please.
I absolutely love that.
Thank you for
so
having
much
me.
for joining me and for making great financial decisions. As you heard, we're not just planning for the wealth today, but we are planning for the wealth even after our own lives are no longer walking the earth, but our little hearts, which are our babies, are going to inherit. And they're going to not inherit it, ne? They're going to be inheriting wealth, and we'll make sure they don't even waste it.
Trust fund babies.
They already are trust fund babies, honey. And if you need to start your will today, if you want to write it down today, go on to the Sanlam Credit Solutions dashboard, have a look at how you can start that and actually have an advisor come to your home and consult. Okay, sit down with somebody, understand it. Whether you're married, whether you're not, I'm going to repeat that, please. Single or not single, please do the right thing and get your will in order. Get your estate in order. It is simple. We love you so, so much. Don't forget to subscribe to both our channels. And of course, let us know down below. Una, you will? Have you estate planned at all? And if you haven't, it is not too late. In fact, today is the day. You can start now. We feel like we should have done it when we were 18, 19, in our teens, but we didn't. But what's important is that we have done it now. So girl, get your house in order and we'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.